Good morning, everybody. We're going to have a look at how to code a function and then later a procedure from the planning that we've developed. For our example, we're going to use a very simple program. I've got a problem specification that says code a program to get a number. Calculate double the value and display it. Use a function calc double to display or to calculate double the number. Okay? Whenever a function name is given to us, that's exactly the name that's used. I've then completed the documentation, the planning already. So the function name is calc double. It's got to take a number, whatever I called it. It's up to me. I could have called this number or number 1. It's going to get or return the result. I've got some test data and I've got the steps. Declare the variables, calculate double the number and return the result. Then I've already completed also the button calculate double event procedure. My input for the program would be number 1. Result would be my output. TXT num1 and LBL result would be the user interface controls, and I've got my test data. The steps of the program would be declare the variables, get the number from the user, call the function to double the number, and display the result. So, I've already included a program with a user interface. I have completed the documentation of the program, and for the button event procedure I've copied the button event procedure steps as a comment. I like you to always start with the function itself. So after public class main, we're going to code the function. First is the header. We're going to start with public or private. So I'd like to use private at this stage. This function is for this program's used only. Later on, when we provide functions that would be used by other programs, we will specify public. Now the public and the private over here really tells me whether other programs can use it, the function, or not. So private means only for my program's use. If something is declared as public, it means other programs can use it as well. Next, I would need the word function and then the name of the function. Calculate double. Include the brackets, press enter. This gives you end function immediately. You'll see a underline. I haven't completed the function, so there's still warnings for me. The first thing I need to take care of is the data that's returned. So they didn't specify whether I've got doubles or integer data. In that case, we always take care and use double as the data type. So this function must return a result. It will return it via the function itself. So this data returned, I need to specify the data type over here as that. Then I will look at the parameters. Whatever parameters my function needs, I need to specify as formal parameters in the brackets over here. I need number 1. So I will start with all the data that the function would need would be by value parameters. By val num1 as double. Okay, those are the steps of my function then. Next, I would like you to code a comment. What is the purpose of the function? What is the data received? And what is the data returned? So result must be returned. I need to get number 1, and the purpose, calculate double the number. Okay, I'm going to minimize my screen a little bit. So a section of the header goes over to the new line. Okay, my first step then in the function planning is declare the variables. Whatever data must be returned, I need to use a local variable for this. So that means dim result as double. Okay, so data returned means my function first of all must specify I'm returning this or that data type. I need a dim result as double, and because beginners very often forget to return the data, I'm immediately going to enter return result. So data returned tells me to do 3 things. Specify the function needs to return whatever data type I choose, define a variable to store the data in, and have a return statement. And have a look. I've done now the last step of the function already. The first step would be declare the variables with a dim statement. Next, I need the actual work of the function. Calculate double the number, and I've got the formula. Result is equal to num1 times 2. Okay, normally we leave a line open after the dim statement so that my code looks neat and nice, like this. Thereafter I can continue with my button event procedure. I'm going to include a few steps that you know how to do already. Okay, so in my planning, I've specified as the first step, and I've copied it here, declare the variables. Which variables? Well, currently I've got num1 and result. So I will need dim statements, and I chose to use double as the data type rather. So next step says get the number from the user. I've included the step to do that, and just because you know how to do this already, I've included that step as well. So now I need to call the function to double the number. I will always start with the variable where the result must be saved. I actually want to call this result, not result1. So result. Then, as soon as I start with the name of the function, the help tells me there's a function called calculate double. I can just press tab and the name is included. If I start with the beginning braces, the function header is used, and it tells me but I need num1, so I can include that, and now it's sent to the function. And this concludes then the program. This is a very short little program, not a lot that we're doing, but the purpose is really to show you how to code a function. We're first going to code the function before we get to the part that calls the function. If I now press start, I can enter my data and click calculate to see the result. And I'm going to test that all the data displays correctly, like that. If something happens and my data doesn't display correctly, I need to trace through the program. I need to see if I can find the problem. Very often, if you did something incorrectly, the program is going to moan at you. Don't ignore squiggly underline. So over here, there's a green squiggly underline. It's a warning. It says this function doesn't return a value it should. Are you missing a return statement? So don't ignore the messages that you get. If I had a formula that's wrong, and here we know what's the formula and why it's wrong, I should pick it up at testing. So if I double number 10, over here it displays 12. If I double 6, the program displays 8. If I double 400, program displays 402 currently. The best that you can do in this situation would be to go slowly and carefully through the program. When we debug a program, we can specify that the program must stop execution when it gets to the point that I've selected. I simply click in the border and it sets a breakpoint. If I now click start, the program starts. I can type the number that I need, click calculate, and the moment that I do this button calculate event procedure would start execution. The yellow line is yet to be executed. Currently number 1 and result stores 0. So if I click step into, that one step would execute line 33. And I can see number 1 now stores 6. If I click, do one more step again, then the program jumps to the function. One more step and result is calculated. If I put my cursor over number 1, I can see the 6. If I then next press F11, step into, result is calculated. If I put my cursor over result, I can see the value. I can also see the changed value over here. And obviously the value is not doubled. If you have a good look, 6 plus 2 would be 8. My formula is wrong. If I just continue with the current debugging, return result will send back result, end function will stop the function, and we go back. Result doesn't store a value yet. Only after the execution of line 35 does result store the new value, and line 37 will now display the value. End stop will stop the number, and I can see the result. Okay, so debugging allows me to go through the program slowly so that I can try and find my error. And currently then, this have got to be a multiply for the program to function correctly. Okay, if I close this and close the first example, I can open example number 2. Okay, I've opened example number 2 where we are going to use a procedure. So this time around my program specification says code a program to get a number, calculate half and a quarter of the number and display it. Use a procedure, calc data, to calculate the values. So my procedure name must be calc data. What data must the procedure receive? The number. What data must the procedure return? Half and a quarter. The steps would normally be declare the variables. I actually don't need other variables, so when I go to the coding part, this might fall away. Then, next step, calculate half of the number together with the formula, and calculate a quarter of the number together with the formula. If I go to the button Calculate Data Event Procedure, I've filled in the input, the output, and I've got test data as well. The button Event Procedure steps: declare the variables, get the number from the user, call the procedure to calculate half and double of the number, and then display half and a quarter. So if I go to the program, then again I've got a user interface already designed. If I go to the program, data first of all, included that, and I've copied the planning steps. So first of all, I'm also going to look for the procedure and do this planning. Line open, and I can start with the procedure. Again, private. Name of the procedure follows sub. Sub means procedure in VB. So where I would use the word function, in VB for a function, I will use sub. The procedure is called calc data, and again, brackets, press enter. We can start with the purpose, the data that it receives, and the data that the procedure must return. We filled that in the documentation already, but good idea to do it over here as well. Okay, at this stage I'm just going to expand my code so that we can see it all. The first part is the receive part that we need to fill in. So whenever a procedure must get data, we use the reserved word by value. Then the name that I want to use, and again, if nothing is specified, I'm going to make provision for doubles. Now the important part. Whatever data the procedure needs to return, it's got to return via reference parameters. So now I specify by ref, half as double, and by ref, quarter as double. So all the data the procedure must return would be specified using the reserved word by ref. All the data the procedure must receive, use the reserved word by val for value parameters. There are actually, for this procedure, no variables to declare. I can simply go on and code the formulas. And I've got that already, so specify the formula for half, specify the formula for quarter. So I simply go and calculate half and calculate a quarter of the number, and my procedure is done. I finished with the steps because these are the last things I need to do in the procedure. If I then continue the program, the first step is to declare the variables. Next, I need to get the number from the user, so it's got to be saved there. It's called txt num1, get the text property, and ask the program to convert the data. Next, I need to call the procedure, calc data, have a look. Soon as I start with the name, all the values that I can pick from jumped up, and I can immediately see, oops, I made a mistake here in the planning. there, it's right. I just need to fix this part over here. Call calculate data. And because I've got that already, I can have copied it. But have a look at this. If I just specify calculate data, it tells me I need a bit of parameters. If I expand, it tells me num1 must be the first parameter. The second actual parameter that I need, the procedure tells me I need the half variable now. Oops. So half, there we go. And lastly it says, by reference, so I know a changed value would be returned, it's the quarter. I can press tab. And there I've got the procedure call. No more squiggly underlines, so my data is good. Lastly, I can display half and a quarter. And here we go with the steps. So now all that is waiting for me would be to test the program. I can start the program, open my test data. Let's just move that up a little bit. Enter the number. Verify that half and a quarter is displayed correctly. Enter the second number. Half and a quarter is displayed correctly. Have a look. When I do clear, there's a problem. 41. Calculate. And here it's rounding because I specified 1 decimal position for the output. If I stop the program, I saw that button clear didn't do its job as it should have. The label for quarter is not cleared. So I can enter that. And I can just run the program again to verify that all is good. Clear this time's around, clear the data. Okay, and again in exactly the same manner as shown just now, I can debug the program, go through it slowly. So, thank you very much. Hope this assists.